Mabuhay! My name is Isabel, and I'm from the archipelago of 7,107 islands, high tide, and 7,108 low tide, the Philippines. I'm 31. I'm just kidding. I'm 41. I just wanted to see if you'll believe me. Because, my friends, they ask me, Isabel, what's your secret for looking so good? And I tell them, Hi nako Inday, it's all about moisturizing. That's why I use Dove, because you're more beautiful than you think. There are many Doves, but my favorite is Dove Pomegranate. Ay, it smells so good. In Manila, I didn't even know what a pomegranate was. The first time I saw one here in Canada, I said, oh my, all those seeds, so hard to eat. That's why I just put it on my face. So, I've been living here in Vancouver for 8 years now. First 2 years, live-in caregiver for the Choi family. After staying with the Choi's, I got an open work permit, so I opened the door of my life. I told myself, this is it, Isabel. This is your chance to find new opportunities. And when I was young, I always said, I want to be in Broadway. So I got a job here at Tim Hortons near the train station. On Broadway. After another 2 years, I got my permanent residence, and of course, I tried to get my family here right away. So I've been living here in Vancouver for 8 years now. First 2 years as live-in caregiver for the Choi family. After staying with the Choi's, I got an open work permit, so I opened the door of my life. I told myself, this is it, Isabel. This is your chance to find new opportunities. And when I was young, I always said, I want to be on Broadway. So I got a job here at Tim Hortons near the train station. On Broadway. After another 2 years, I got my permanent residence. And of course, I tried to get my family here right away. But that took another 2 years. So much paperwork. And plane tickets aren't cheap, I haven't gone home to Manila for 6 years. Who cares about that city? You don't film movies there like 50 Shades of Grey. Unless you're talking about pollution. Anyway, last year, my son Miguel moved here to be with me. He's 15 now. He was barely 7 when I left Manila, but now he's here. My son is here. And after all the years of waiting, this is all that matters.
Hey, sup? Miguel here. Been a Vancouver for over a year. What's that? Oh yeah, Vancouver is okay. I guess pretty different. Very different. Stuff here is crazy expensive. Like 100 times more than Manila. We stay in this basement. Suite on 43rd and Fraser. Actually, I don't know why they call suite when there's nothing sweet about it. During winter, and I can play my music because Mr. Rajagopal upstairs complains it's too loud. It's nothing like the place we had in Manila, where we had real windows that overlook the street. Now the street overlooks us. Basta. Next year I'm turning 16 and I can wait to get a job. I'm gonna get one at a time, earn a shitload of money, and get out of this dump. Yeah, that's all that matters.
Sometimes, I wake up in the morning when it's still dark outside. I look at the white beams of the ceiling and I say to myself, where am I? How did I get here? I feel like I'm in the movie of Leonardo DiCaprio. What is that? The one when you're in a dream of a dream? Ay, alam ko na. I know. Inception. Then I realize, oh my God, the dream is real. I have to get ready for work. So I make breakfast for Miguel and me. Spam, fried eggs, garlic rice, and lots of banana ketchup. I'm sure you didn't know you can make ketchup out of bananas, no? Only in the Philippines. Because, all the bananas in the world come from us. FYI, banana ketchup is not yellow. It's red. We make it look like a tomato ketchup so that you don't think we're weird. In Manila, Spam is not cheap. We only eat it on Sunday before going to church. Now, I tell my friends back home, you know what, Inday? In Canada, we eat spam every day. After cooking, I shower quickly, and by 6, I'm out of the house to get to work. Michael doesn't wake up till 8. Ay nako. Actually, I don't know what time that boy goes to bed. I have a second job at a grocery on Broadway, and I'm there until 10 p.m. By the time I get home, Miguel is in his bedroom with his headphones on. He always says he's doing his homework, but I think he's just watching videos. But what can I do? Teenagers these days. Sometimes I want to go into his room and just ask him, how's your day, anak? How's school? After a whole day of speaking in English, how would you like your coffee? 2 creams and a sugar, eh? Would you like a plastic bag? After a whole day of all that nonsense, I'd like to come home and hear his voice, to speak to me in Tagalog, so that, so that I could be home again.
I got home after school yesterday, and I was starving. Opened my fridge, bagels and tuna salad, and leftover spam. I hate tuna salad. I'm sick of bagels. I want rice and sinigang, or adobo, or caldereta. But I can only cook these dishes on Sunday. Her day off, she make a whole pot and we'd eat it whole week. But today is Thursday and there's some left. She'd make a whole pot and we'd eat the whole week. But today is Thursday and there's none left. That's what tuna salad is for. Back in Manila, when I live at my lola, my grandmother, every night he will have at least 3 dishes. My lola loved to cook. My cousins Julian and Susan and Uncle Alex live there too. Julian is a year older than me and Susan is, I think, 8 anyway. Uncle Alex works at a call center, graveyard shift. He's a customer service representative for TELUS. You know when you call to complain about your cell phone bill and your call TELUS, and you think you're calling someone who's in Surrey or New West. But the truth is you're talking to my Uncle Alex in Manila. They're trained to speak in Canadian accent like, how can I help you today? Let me adjust the bill for you. The other day, he told me that customer was being friendly and said something about the Canucks game the night before, and he said, oh yeah, of course, the Canucks. My uncle has watched a single hockey game in his life. If he saw a puck, he think it was a paperweight. Uncle Alex has dinner with us before he leave for work. I'd always be so noisy around the dining table. We'd be talking about our day, joking around, and Lola would keep on topping up our plate with food. Man, I'm hungry. Now I get home to our suite and all I have is tuna salad and a TV. I don't know any of the neighbors, so I spend the rest of the evening playing GTA. And the best part is that Inay got me this kick-ass headphones last Christmas so that Mr. Rajagopal upstairs would stop complaining about the noise. So that means I could play until 2 in the morning completely undetected. Yup, that's how it works.
Yesterday, I had a really bad episode at work. I had very little sleep the night before because I did the laundry and there was just so much to wash. Anyways, there was this woman who ordered a dozen donuts. And I mixed up her order and gave her scones instead. If you ask me, I was doing her a favor by not giving her those donuts. Really? Anyway, she had to walk back several blocks with her little daughter to tell me I made a mistake. Of course, I kept on saying sorry. She wasn't rude or anything. In fact, when I handed her the donuts, she smiled. And I apologized again. But then, when I started to head out, she turned to her daughter and said, "This is why you have to study hard, my love. Because otherwise, you'll end up just like her." I froze. Just like her? The words echoed in my head the whole day as I served this sausage biscuits and maple donuts and swiped cans of beans and corns and handed out plastic bags. Just like her. What does it mean to be just like me? When I got home, all I wanted was to see Miguel, to hear his voice. I wanted to find in his face some sign that I've made the right choices, that I've been a good mother, that I wasn't just like her. I knocked on his window. Miguel? Anak? But he was asleep.
Couldn't sleep last night. It's exactly a year today since I last saw Itay, my father. I wonder how he is. If he thinks of me sometimes when I was living with my Lola, and Inay was here in Canada. My father worked in Cavite, 40 kilometers away from my Lola's place. He had a sales job there, and because traffic is really bad, he rented a room in Cavite and left me with my Lola. I remember he used to say, "Don't worry, anak. We'll see you in nice soon. Just wait, and next thing you know, you'll be playing in the snow and eating spaghetti and meatballs." Every day, every night, I would wait for the phone to ring, for a night to call and say, "Miguel, come to Canada tomorrow." But as years went by, and as I waited for the particular phone call, I began to see less and less of my father as well. At first, he'd say he had to work overtime, that they needed him to work Saturdays. Sometimes, I'd become of the traffic, but even if he didn't come, I knew that just like me, he waited for a night too.
Roberto, I can't wait for the time when my blood doesn't boil every time I think of that son of a bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say that here? But yes, I guess there's no better way to refer to him. Or wait, maybe asshole? 10 years ago, when Miguel was 5, I was teaching English at a public high school and Roberto was a med rep, a salesperson for pharmaceuticals. He'd go to the doctors and talk about the new wonder drug and how it will cure everything from migraines to acne. Anyway, realized at one point that no matter how hard we worked, what we were earning would never be enough to send Miguel to be a good student or to buy a house. Our neighbor Pasing had a cousin who went to Canada through the live-in caregiver program, and Pasing told us how their whole family got to go to Canada and find jobs, and that life was good. So I thought to myself, maybe I could do this. Yes, I love teaching, but I want to give my kid a good future. And in Manila, a teacher's salary will never be enough. At first, Roberto didn't like the idea. Nakakahiya, he would say. It's embarrassing. What would the neighbors say? Teacher going abroad to be a caregiver in someone's house? I told him, Roberto, there's no space for hiya here. If we want to build this family, we'll have to let go of shame. We just need to do what must be done.
I knew I really should do my homework, but who cares about that? Even if you don't get as, you stay a winner here in Canada, diba? University is just for rich people anyway. The other day, Miss Nelson, my science teacher, asked me something about the migration of swallows, and I read about it and shit, but I couldn't speak up. I guess you could say I was just kinda worried, that they might laugh again, the way they did a couple months back when I said Shaughnessy instead of Shaughnessy. I don't know why, but I could never get that right.
In Shaughnessy, when I was working for the Choice, I got paid $8 an hour. They took out $325 each month for room and board, and that left me with around $900. I would keep 150 to pay for my phone, my shampoo, and of course my Dove pomegranate, and some money for going out on my days off. The rest, I would send home for Miguel's school and his living expenses. I was happy to earn more than twice I was earning in Manila. But of course, I was so homesick. I missed my family, gossiping with my friends. I missed being a teacher. At first, I would call Roberto every week on Saturdays when he and Miguel were together. But then, sometimes Roberto couldn't go to Manila, and to save money, I called every other week. Then it became once a month. Every night, before going to bed, I would look at our family picture from the last Christmas I spent in Manila and think about how happy we were. Ay, ano ba, Isabel? But it's a little homesickness. This is for your family. This is for Miguel.
When my mom finally got the family visa for us to come over, we had to wait another year to get the money ready for our ticket and stuff. Things were kinda of the first couple of months we were here. Everything was so new and different now. Paltin, Jackadog. One morning I woke up and went to get some juice in the kitchen. And I saw the things were missing. The TV, the microwave. I ran to my parents' room to tell them, Inay, Itay, we've been robbed. Call 911. But all I found was Inay sitting at the foot of the bed, crying. The closet was open and my father's clothes were gone. I haven't seen him since.
The moment I saw them at the airport, I ran and I hugged Miguel so tight I think he couldn't breathe. I was afraid of people would call 911 and report me for child abuse. I hugged Roberta and then we headed for the SkyTrain with all the luggage and sat in front, while he and Miguel were looking outside the window to see what Vancouver was like. I remember looking at my son, then him, this man, my husband, the mole on his right cheek, his mustache, his pointy ears. I recognized all of this. But then I realized that there was also part of him I didn't recognize anymore. And although I couldn't put my finger on it, I knew something had changed. Because of my two jobs, I hardly got to see both of them. I'd be so exhausted when I got home. Many times, Roberta would go 5 blocks away to the house of Kiko, who's also from the same hometown. Kiko lived with his wife, 2 kids, his sister-in-law, and a cousin, and Roberta would go there practically every day so that they could talk about life back in the Philippines and how everybody was at fiesta. Roberta would go there practically every day so that they could talk about life back in the Philippines and how every day was a fiesta. Kami naman, the only time we had as a family was my day off on Sunday when we went to church. And that's when I'd pray for the Blessed Virgin Mary to knock some sense into my husband's head. Otherwise, I'll knock his head with something harder. Anyway, one night, this was like a year ago, he came home drunk. As I led him to bed, drew closer to him, I smelled something on his neck, and it was not the smell of Dove pomegranate. I know every fragrance of shampoo, lotion, and laundry soap in this house, and I knew this was not one of them. Roberto, sabihin mo sa akin ang totoo. Tell me the truth. He broke down and cried. He'd been having an affair with that sister-in-law of Kika for that past 3 months. At that moment, I couldn't think straight. After all these years, working here in Canada, giving up my hiya to care for him, for our son, this is how he repays me? Lumayas ka dito. Leave us. Don't ever come back. He took his clothes, some of our stuff, and then he left.
It's all her fault. Why Itay left? She's always Roberto. You have to do this. Roberto, why you don't do that? She's the same way with me, and she drives me nuts. Miguel, study hard, do the dishes, just eat your tuna salad and stop complaining. In Manila, I never had to do the dishes. Lola will always take me to school here. Inay keeps on saying, tandaan mo anak, school is important, but she never helped me with my homework. She doesn't even find the time to attend the parent-teacher meetings. And I feel I am the only kid in school whose parents never show up. When I'm 16, I'm gonna find a job and make my own money so that I don't have to hear her say, money doesn't grow on trees, Miguel, and how she sacrificed her life for me. But living so far away from me, not being able to see me for 7 fucking years, tell me, didn't she sacrifice me too?
Sakripisyo. Sacrifice. This is what it's all about, right? Blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. That's what Father de la Cruz used to keep on telling us at our parish in Malabon when I was growing up. I had this image of heaven in my head. Everything was gold. The walls, the curtains, and there would be food everywhere, and snow. The angels would be flying around and would all be dressed in white. So even when my parents couldn't feed their 7 kids, and we would go to sleep hungry, I thought that's okay. In heaven, I'll have all the fried chicken I want with all the banana ketchup money I can buy. All I need is to wait. And so when I thought of coming to Canada, I thought, what's a few years of sacrifice? If I could do it for a better life, for my son. The night before I left for Canada, when Miguel was about to go to bed, I held him in my arms. Anak, tomorrow, Inay is going somewhere, okay? Very nice. To this place called Canada. What will you do there? I'm going to find us a new house where everything is gold, with lots of food, and where they have snow. Wow, I want to go with you, Inay. Not yet, anak. I have to go there first, and then you'll follow, okay? He nodded and then fell asleep. While he lay there, I looked at my son's face, his eyes, his cheeks. I knew that tomorrow, if he saw me crying when I left, he would cry too, and I wouldn't be able to leave. So the next day, before he woke up, I kissed him on the forehead. And then I took my bags and left. I was crying all the way to the airport. I was crying on the plane. Sometimes I feel I haven't stopped crying since.
I remember waking up with the white beams of the ceiling looking down on me. I remembered my dream. I was in this beautiful place with big golden house and snow. That must be Canada. That's where Inay said she's going. I was so excited. I ran to the kitchen to tell her. I saw it, Inay. I saw Canada. But she wasn't in the kitchen. And instead, I found my grandmother. Where is she? Inay, Lola. I want to go with her to Canada. Lola bent down and held my hand. Miguel, your Inay has left. Left where? Aren't we going with her? No. Canada is very far away. This morning, you and I took her to the airport. Oh, they don't allow kids at the airport? Why didn't she say goodbye? You were still asleep and she didn't want to wake you. But when I see her, I remember the tears were already streaming down my cheeks. I want to see my Inay. And all that Lola said was, soon, Miguel, you'll see her. Soon.
Soon, anak. Soon. I promise you. Life will be better. For you. For both of us. Soon.
That time, my mother left when I was 7. Soon became days, weeks, months, and 7. I realized a very painful truth. My mother had abandoned me, and as the years went by and her image began to fade, I could no longer remember what it was like. The way she touched my cheeks, the feel of her hands. Sure, she sent home money, sent me toys and chocolates. Sure, there were home calls and pictures, but you can't hug a phone call, can you? And a picture can tell you that every will be alright.
Just wait, anak. Soon, everything will be alright.
Why? All these years I've been waiting. Tell me, please tell me, when does soon begin?